Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about probably the weirdest Darklord deck that I've played with Dogmatika Darklords. Now, what makes this deck so weird? The fact that there are basically no synergies with this deck. I'm not gonna lie to you, there is like none. However, someone asked me to play it, so I played it, and yeah, it was a mistake. It's not bad, it's just weird. And I don't want to say it's harder to play, it's just like, it's hard to remember what locks you out of what, and pilot where things lock you. Okay, let me just explain this a little bit better. All of the Dogmatika cards lock you out of the extra deck. Indulged locks you into specifically only fairy type effects. So, what does this mean? Basically, half the time you're going to be playing with only half of your strategy, which is problematic. And even with that being said, it still seems to work fairly decently. It's not great, but it's better than the Forbidden Darklords, which is probably the worst Darklord deck that I've played. But that's not saying much, because that deck was awful. So yeah, let's just quickly do the card by card. We have Max C, we have Ash Blossom, which is also why we're not playing Reasoning. Reasoning is really good in this deck, but you don't want to hit it off, or you don't want to hit Ash Blossom off of Reasoning, and Ash Blossom is just crazy, so I'm playing Ash Blossom instead. You can take out Ash Blossom for Reasoning as well. We're playing one Ukobak, we are playing triple Ecclesia. Ecclesia is crazy. Dogmatika Ecclesia. Basically, it can special summon itself from the hand if there is an extra deck monster on the field. Also, you can normal summon it in order to, on normal or special summon, you can search out a Dogmatika card, which is everything except for Nadir Servant. So yeah, just all in all, a really solid card. Also, it does lock you out of the extra deck, as does basically all of these. They all just lock you out of the extra deck. But also, it cannot be destroyed by battle with a special summon monster from the extra deck. So, very nice. Rarely comes up. We are also playing two Indulged Darklords. It's a nice normal summon, but most of the time you're going to want to spend your normal on the Ecclesia, so it makes more sense to just cut this a little bit. We have one Amdusk, we have one Nastin, we have one Superbia. All of those are okay. We're playing one Fleur-de-Lis. Realistically, you could bump this up to 2, potentially. But also it's kind of bricky, so even playing one, sometimes I'm like, maybe I don't want to play this card. But this card's actually really good if you are able to have another Dogmatika on the field. So you could, like, special summon out the Ecclesia, search out the Fleur-de-Lis, special summon the Fleur-de-Lis, and then Fleur-de-Lis, when it is special summoned while you have another Dogmatika card, can negate the effects of a face-up monster on the field, non-target. Very, very solid. Also, when a Dogmatika monster declares an attack, you boost all Dogmatika monsters by 500. Very solid. So, yeah, just, you know, this becomes 2,000, this becomes 3,000, this becomes 2,000, all very solid. Maximus is very interesting. You banish an extra deck monster in order to special summon this card. Also, during the main phase, you can send 2 monsters with different names from your extra deck to the grave, and then your opponent sends 2 as well, and then you can't special summon from the extra deck. Now, you might be like, well, that's weird. What is that? Why would that do anything? Well, we do have actual targets for us to send off of a lot of the effects for the extra deck sending, which is Entis, which just pops a card when it's sent to the graveyard, and Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon. Titaniclad, during the end phase, will either add to your hand or special summon to your field a Dogmatika monster. Very, very solid. For example, if you didn't end up special summoning your Ecclesia that turn, and you send this guy to the grave, you're able to special summon it that turn and get the extra advantage to search out a card, or just whatever it may be. Very nice. Moving on, we are playing one Tez, triple Ixchel, one Morningstar, all very standard for Darklords. We're playing one Harpy's Feather Duster. It's just a really solid card. I would highly suggest main decking some sort of back row removal in this format. There's a lot of back row playing it. Just makes sense. Triple Banishment, triple Triple Contact, sorry. Makes sense. Just some of the best cards in Darklords. Playing 1 Nadir Servant. This card's really, really good. And I would love to see it more. But it's limited to 1. I don't know what to say. It's just a good card. It sends a card from the extra deck to the graveyard, which allows you to go for Entis to pop a card, or Titaniclad for extra advantage during the end phase, and then you just add a Dogmatika monster from your deck to your hand. Just add Ecclesia. It's crazy. Because of the fact that half the time we're locked into the extra deck, or locked out of the extra deck, we're playing Pot of Prosperity. Just a very solid card. Playing 1 called by double droplets. Realistically, this should be 2 and 3. This one is actually arguable. You could play 2. You don't want to see it all the time. But you also do want to see it more often sometimes. I don't know. It's good. But the thing is, like, you don't have a lot of really good targets to send off of this card. So it's not, like, the greatest. 1 Rebellion, 1 Enchantment, and 1 Uprising. It's nice. Pretty standard for Darklords. And then we're playing 2 Dogmatika Punishment. As for the extra deck, as I've already mentioned, we are playing Entis and Titaniclad, as well as... oh, excuse me. As well as Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and the first Darklord. Both of these can be summoned off of the Uprising, so that's why we're playing them. We're playing 1 Hope Harbinger, we are playing 1 Ravenous Tarantula, and 1 Pain Gainer, as well as 1 Double Azaeus. We're playing 1 Nightmare Cerberus and Nightmare Phoenix, pretty standard. Realistically, all of the Xyz as well as Cerberus can be cut. Most of the extra deck can be cut because, you know, we're locked out half the time. We're playing Double Condemned. This is the one card that is so incredibly crucial, and more so is why there's a problem with locking us out of the extra deck. You really need this card in order to get your plays consistently with Darklords, so not seeing this card is problematic. But normally, if you have the Dogmatika stuff, you can oftentimes survive off of that until you are able to go into the extra deck once again. So it's not too big of a problem, but it does come up, and it's rather annoying. We're playing 1 Apollosa, 1 Access Code, and 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So that's the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this works. Now, before we get into these duels, I just wanted to say that, did you know, almost 80%, over 80% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed? That's all. Alright, so here we are with the Diviner package, as I had previously mentioned, and so we're just going to do the standard Diviner stuff. We're going to normal summon the Diviner, special summon out the Trios. Diviner's effect is going to activate in order to special summon out the Ava. We're going to link both of those off into our Condemned Darklord, and at this point we can pitch banish the Herald in order to grab up the Angel 01. Reveal the Superbia, special the Angel 01, activate the Condemned, pitch the Superbia, search out that Ixchel effect, sending the Indulged, to draw 2. Now we have contact, so we can contact back our Superbia. Superbia effect is going to then special summon out our Ixchel, and then we can go for Ixchel here, special summoning out the Indulged. Indulged is going to special summon and then search. We're going to search out the Morningstar here, and then I'm going to actually link off into our Apollosa. And you may be like, wait, why are you doing this? Well, because I do want to do this under Apollosa. If they had a Nibiru, I would be scared. And I'm pretty sure that they had a Nibiru. It was like activating at that specific time, so there's that. We're going to special summon out our Nastin after the normal summon of the Morningstar, and then we are going to Nastin effect in order to bring back the Superbia. Realistically, should I have done that? No. But I'm dumb, so I did it anyway. We're going to set the Forbidden Droplets and pass with Maxi and Ash Blossom in our hand, as well as an Apollosa. They're going to tribute over our guy, and I'm just, okay, going to fire off the Maxi. They're going to go for a Numeron Wall here, and I go, yeah, sure, Inferno Tempest, I'm okay with that. So they're going to banish a whole bunch of stuff, and guess what? I still have 17 cards in my deck. Reason being, I play a lot of spells. I mean, you saw the deck list. I play a lot of spells. So they're going to banish everything, and I'm going to be like, yeah, sure. They're going to activate Necroface into Necroface into Necroface. I'm going to negate one of those, so I'm only going to mill 10 cards instead of 15, which is nice, but it doesn't really end up mattering. So, yeah, I'm just going to negate a few things. We're going to banish some things. We're going to banish some things. Oh no, my banishment. Anyway, they're going to go to the end phase here, and yep, okay, I'm going to draw Darklord Contact somehow, which is very funny, because it doesn't do anything. But I'm just going to switch everything to attack position and just OTK my opponent. At Inferno Tempest, be aware of it, make Apollosa or something, or just like play a whole bunch of spells. Yeah, good game. Alright, so this time we actually do get to showcase a little bit more of the Dogmatika half of this deck. But we still have the Herald play. So there, I'm going to send the Herald. They're going to Maxi, and I'm just going to cry. I just proceed to cry. No, I still send Trios here. It's still the best send. But we're going to search out our Superbia. The reason I go for Superbia, with Ixchel in hand, I'm hoping that I draw into something like Contact. I end up not drawing into actually anything, which is very funny. But all in all, I'm like, this should be fine. And then I see the Pot of Extravagance. I'm going to max C here, but I see the Pot of Extravagance and I go, okay, this could be a very back row heavy deck, and since I drew into Harpy's Feather Duster, I'm not all that worried. They end up normal summoning the Banisher here, and I'm like, oh, cool, so it is a back row deck. I was mistaken. It's kind of not. They only set 2 back row, and I draw into the one of Angel 01 that I was playing. However, I did end up banishing their Macrocosmos as well as there can only be one. So yeah, there's that. We ended up normal summoning the Ecclesia in order to search out the Fleur-de-Lis so that we could special summon out the Angel 01, so that we could then special summon from the grave the Trios here. Since there isn't an extra deck monster, I had to go for the Trios here in order to get over this Banisher. So there we go. We got over it and we attacked in for a little bit of damage, but they're probably in a better spot here. However, it is a stun deck, so I don't expect them to be the most intimidating. They end up destroying our Ecclesia, which is sad, but you know, Thunder King Ryo, it's a big boy. So I'm just going to normal summon the Diviner here, and I'm actually going to send Entis from the grave, or from the extra deck, and then I'm going to basically proceed into more or less standard combo. I'm going to pitch the Ecclesia here in order to search out Amdusk. The reason being is because we do have the Banishment in the graveyard, so we can just search out, or add back the Banishment with the Amdusk, and then fire off the Banishment, search out Contact back the Superbia. Superbia is going to bring back, I believe, Ixchel here in attack position. And then we are going to contact back our Amdusk, and then Amdusk's effect is going to activate in order for us to search. I searched the Uprising here. I think there was potentially a way I could have... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually go for lethal here. So, realistically, going for this Uprising was a rather large mistake, but it doesn't end up mattering. We just OTK our opponent there and win the duel. So, a little bit of everything, and this is why I would say Diviner with the Dogmatika package is a little bit better, just because they do have those synergies, as one is a fairy while one isn't a fairy, but both of them kind of don't need the extra deck. So if you see both of those engines, it's a little bit better to play off of that. Alright, so here we are in the third duel, and this one is much more about the Dogmatika side of the deck. So, as you can see, we are playing against Trap Tricks, which, oof. But you will see that the Dogmatika half of our deck really comes in clutch here. So, they are going to special out their Sarah, and then I am just going to... They have one back row, which is interesting, but I'm not... I'm a little bit worried that this could potentially be the... oh, what is it? Gravekeeper's... or Gravedigger's Trap Hole or something along those lines. The one that negates in hand and burns, and grave, and then burns you as well. So, it wasn't, luckily. So, our Ixchel resolves, and then they max CS and I cry. Except we have Ash Blossom, so I'm like, no, I don't want you to draw cards. Ash Blossom. Maxi is a fair and balanced card and should not be banned. Thank you. Anyway, we're going to contact back our Ixchel here, and at this point I'm going to fire off the Nadir Servant, knowing that they don't have an Ash Blossom, which feels pretty good. We're going to send the Entis here, and Entis is going to try and pop the back row. Realistically, should I have popped Sarah? Maybe? But in all honesty, I don't think it mattered which one I targeted. I was more worried that this was something that wasn't activatable unless I summoned, like a Torrential or a Bottomless or a you know, something along those lines. It could even be something like a Treacherous Trap Hole, so I was really trying to get rid of that. And while Sarah does provide a lot of advantage, I was like, it's probably better to target the back row here. Turns out it was chainable. Feels bad, man. So they're going to compulse our monster back to the hand with the Eggshell. They're going to special summon out their Murmillo. Murmillo is going to try to pop a card, but it can't. And then they are going to, they're going to set Break Off Trap Hole. So this card is really interesting. When a link monster is link summoned to destroy all monsters on the field that are not linked. So basically, if they link off this Murmillo into a Sarah, they could just pop our entire field. So I'm like, okay, I really do have to deal with that. But I'm going to normal summon the Ecclesia, and then I'm going to special summon out the Maximus by banishing one of our fusion monsters. We're going to send 2 to the graveyard, and then I'm going to special summon out the Fleur-de-Lis. Fleur-de-Lis really comes in clutch here. I am going to actually use my Harpy's Feather Duster to 1-for-1 there. It's basically an MST, but the reason being, I cannot let this this trap card resolve. I literally lose everything if it does. So there's that. We're just going to boost up with our Fleur-de-Lis and attack in and deal a bunch of damage, and then search out during the end phase with our Titaniclad or the Ecclesia. So we have a pretty solid follow-up here. They're going to normal summon their Murmillo in order to activate their search out their Grave Digger's Trap Hole. This is the one that I was worried about, so I do have to keep that in mind. However, they sent Solemn Judgment, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But they wanted to special summon out their Vesicule, so they do. So they bring out the Sarah here, which is nice, and then they set their Grave Digger's Trap Hole. So I know that it's Grave Digger's Trap Hole, so at this point I literally just normal summon the Ecclesia, search out our punishment, switch everything to attack position, and attack in for lethal here. Everything's going to get the boost with the Fleur-de-Lis, and this is well over lethal, so I was like, yeah, I don't even need to commit to really anything, just gonna attack, and there it is, game. Good game. Alright, so here we are in the 4th game, and this one, this hand really loses to Ash Blossom, but it worked. So I'm going to actually end up searching out the Nastin here, and we're going to send the other 2 traps to the graveyard to special summon him. We're going to search out the Indulged. Indulged here is going to be normal summoned to search out our Morningstar. So we're going to special summon out the Ukobak and search Morningstar. We're going to set our 1 Forbidden Droplet, and then just kind of cry. So they are going to set 5 and pass, and during the end phase, I'm going to activate in order to fusion. I'm going to activate the Nastin in order to fusion summon into the first Darklord. First Darklord's effect is going to pop everything on the field because of the fact that we used our Darklord Morningstar, and then they are going to activate their Waking the Dragon as well as Secret Blast. Now, Secret Blast just deals 1,000 damage to us, not that big of a deal, but Waking the Dragon is rather terrifying. I'm going to max C here, which is funny, which is the only reason that I do it. No, in all reality, drawing a card is just nice. We actually draw into Punishment, which is, or sorry, not Punishment, Banishment, which is really nice, except for the fact that this card literally just says negate. Spells and traps. So, feels bad, but luckily we have first Darklord on the field, so it does not end up mattering. We're going to special summon out our Nastin, and because we have Enchantment in the grave, I'm just going to steal their monster and then kill him with it. I just steal their monster, guys. Like, 4,000, 5,000, that's 9,000 damage. Steal their monster, thank you. Alright, we're back with the deck, and how did this perform? Terribly. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Dogmatika stuff, locking you out of the extra deck, does matter a whole lot, seeing as how literally your boss monster, as well as your way to consistently get to your boss monster, are both in the extra deck. However, with that being said, the Dogmatika engine is small. It's a nice little boost to Darklords, but I still think it's better just to play like a pure variant of Darklords, or Eldritch, or Herald, or something else. You can play it with Herald as well, like the Herald, Diviner of Herald package, which is very nice. It's not like perfect, but it's nice because you can search out things for your Angel 01 to special summon. You can also have just a better normal And then you can go into a Link monster or an extra deck monster, which allows things like the Fleur-de-Lis, the Maximus, and the Ecclesia to special summon themselves more easily. Maximus, less so, but kind of. So yeah, it's just a better idea to play it with this. There you go. However, I didn't want to show a whole lot of replays of me just playing Diviner package with it. So yeah. And with that in mind, just add the cards. Just play like a 48 card deck or however many cards. Just add the Diviner, add Trios, add Ava, add Angel 01. You'll be fine. Anyway, it was a fine deck. It was interesting. I really do like having Dogmatika Punishment. While it does lock me out of the extra deck, it was nice from time to time to just be able to pop like 2 cards. My opponent controls, like send an Entis, pop 2 cards, or, send Titaniclad to get extra advantage, or whatever it may be. It was nice to have, and I really think that I really kind of want to play just a more trap variant deck for Darklords, but problem is you just can't. It's so clunky and requires specifically a lot of Darklord names, so it's rather difficult to do that. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.